So the Minnesota Vikings are more than deep enough to replace Danielle Hunter. You have a Fadi stepping up. You have Jalen Holmes, Cheeseburger, Eddie, DJ Wadham could get involved. Anthony Barr could kick down the defensive end. We're good. We're good. But if the Vikings wanted to just buzz the tower and just peruse, sort of window shop what is out there on the edge market as well as on potential practice squads, it's always good to price shop and comparison shop and do all those things. So let's talk about the 5 edge rushers that the Vikings have available right now. The title's a work in progress. Anyway, numero uno, Cameron Wake. Well, originally this was going to be Jared Allen because you finally realized that Jared Allen is younger than Cameron Wake, but yeah. So Cameron Wake, 38 years old. Yes. 6'3", 263, former Penn State CFL star. Didn't break into the NFL until he was 27, but racked up a phenomenal career with the Dolphins. I actually could be a borderline Hall of Famer. 5-time Pro Bowler, 100.5 career sacks. Signed last year with the Titans, free agency. Racked up 25. That'd be a record. 2.5 sacks as well as 31 pressures over 9 games. Situationally, he still can play. That's all the Vikings really need. You do have a Fadi. You do have Jalen Holmes. You do have Yannick as a rotational guy. So if you did want to bring in someone specifically to go hunt the quarterback, you could do worse than Cameron Wake, as well as all these veteran signings should happen after week 1 because then as a vested veteran, those contracts aren't guaranteed. So it would make sense logistically. But so Cameron Wake's 1. Veteran number 2. Well, actually, no. Just edge rusher number 2, the Vikings should consider. Anthony Zettel. Yeah. Anthony never settled Zettel. Obviously was in training camp with the Vikings. Was released a couple days before a 53-man rooster cutdowns. Now, that wasn't punitive. That wasn't the Vikings saying, like, hey, GTFO. It was more like, hey, we're not going to have you on the 53. We do want to give you a chance to catch on with another team or practice squad, so we'll let you go a couple days early. But it didn't happen. But 2016 6th-round pick by the Lions coming out of Penn State University. And what is it? All right, a lot of Penn State guys, a lot of Lions, but yeah. Peak was 2017. He was a full-time starter opposite of Ziggy Ansah. More on him in a second. He had 43 pressures, 7.5 sacks for Detroit, primarily playing left defensive end. Was on the Niners last year after bouncing around between Cleveland, Cincinnati, yada, yada. So I actually think that the Vikings do have him in the Rolodex as a couch free agent. You're not going to be picked up by another team or another practice squad in all likelihood. So just floating out there in case of emergency, break glass, just like George Aloka, just like Josh Klein. I think Zettel is in that same situation. He was in camp with the Vikings. He knows the system, could come in right away and contribute or at least play a role. He's always a call away, but also I understand why the Vikings didn't put him on the practice squad because you do want to give more chances for the young guys. Same thing as carrying 11 defensive linemen, primarily all young on the active roster as well. So Zettel, just call him. Yeah. Next up, edge rusher number 3 the Vikings should consider, Ziggy Ansah, Ezekiel Ansah, 31 years old, former number 5 overall pick 2013 out of BYU by the Detroit Lions. 50.5 career sacks. Was a 2015 Pro Bowler as well as second team All-Pro. Was with Seattle in 2019. Recorded 19 pressures, 2.5 sacks over 11 games as a very rotational, situational guy. Has dealt with shoulder issues. TBD what the situation is at. He still floats out there and he's looking for another opportunity. So, yeah. 2 more to go. So these are both practice squad guys. So number 4, Derrek Tuszka, is currently on the Broncos practice squad. They picked him, second last draft pick in this year's draft, coming in 7th round. 23 years old, the pride of North Dakota State University. Now, frankly, I would have preferred Tuszka over Willekes just because of the potential upside. Like I do like Willekes, you do like the Rudy and the story, but I think he is limited physically. Tuszka just got after it, man. Like 4-time national champion, had 13.5 sacks in 2019 as a senior in Fargo. Unanimous All-American, was Missouri Valley Defensive Player of the Year. Trey Lance was the Offensive Player of the Year. No big deal. But yeah, I'm super intrigued and interested about him. If you can poach him from the Broncos practice squad, a la what the Vikings did with Kyle Jerome, Ezekiel Sluter in 2017. Just give him all of the practice squad money and just bring him into the fold. Do that. Lastly, edge rusher number 5 that the Vikings should consider, Tashawn Bower. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Of course, you recognize the name. He's currently on the Patriots practice squad, was in camp with them. But he was a 2017 Vikings UDFA coming out of LSU. And when he was picked up, it's like, oh, LSU. He must be Danielle Hunter 2.0. Not particularly, but he did get after it. Even though, so for a long time, it was Tashawn Bower, it was Afadio Denabo, it was Steve Weatherly, and everyone and their mom was all up on Bower because he played so well in the preseason. But I did think that Afadi was a much better all-around defensive end. So it was like Tashawn for show, Afadi for dough. That was my saying for a long time. But Bower obviously can still get it. 17 pressures, 3 sacks over the 2017-2018 preseason. Was on the active rooster at times over those 2 seasons for the Vikings. Had his first career sack 2017 against the Rams. That upset win, historic US Bank Stadium. Did play 63 total regular season snaps, as well as did miss 2019. Popped an Achilles working out on his own. Was on the Vikings NFI list last year. Did not play. So, like I said, was in camp with the Patriots this year. Yeah, Belichick just has a thing for former Vikings defensive linemen, because remember, they were stiff around Steve Weatherly for a long time, and now they picked up Tashawn Bower. Obviously, they have a lot of reverence for Andre Patterson as well as Mike Zimmer, defensive line. And obviously, with Bower, would make a little sense. Poach him from a practice squad if needed. Obviously knows Zim. Obviously knows Patterson. Obviously knows the system, even though it's changed to a degree over the last year. But it would make sense just to have another body with familiarity who can get after the pass rusher if poop really does hit the fan. So that is it. Again, not advocating the Vikings just like go out and sign every single edge rusher out there. They already traded for Yannick. Fadi's ready to step up. I believe in Holmes and Cheeseburg, Eddie Yarbrough to a degree, so we'll see what happens there. But those are the 5 names available that we're interested in. What are your 5? Do you have any names to add to the list? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skull, production value.